Okay, so we are going to, I have completed part number 1 of Lab 7. So I have my number variables created, and I have all of my nests taught. I'm just going to demonstrate that here. So we have our 2 pick nests and our drop nest. I will demonstrate in our module here, so PP to main, and we will just run this, and it's going to run around from nest 1, pick from 1, drop to 2, pick 1, drop, sorry, this is drop 2, pick 1, drop 3, so that's pick out of 1, drop in number 3. You can see I have all my zones working very nicely, my speeds very nicely, all my moves very nice, and then pick out of 2, drop in 1, and it'll just continue to run around in a circle like this. So those are all of my nests taught. That is everything we need to do for part 1 of the lab. So, moving into part 2. So here we go. First thing we need to do, we need to add a line at the bottom of each of our routines that is going to set our number variables to 0. So in the pick routines, set pick nest back to 0 and drop nest back to 0. So we need to add that. So if I go to routines and pick 1, show that routine, I need to add a piece of code at the bottom here. So on my very last line, I'm going to add an instruction, and it's going to be this one here. Now a lot of this lab is how to key things in. So I need to say pick nest is going to be equal to 0. So pick nest is going to equal 0. So this is actually an expression. And the way that we key this in, only selected equal to 0. Okay, and that is how that keys in. See that? So basically when this executes, when it gets to the end of this, it's going to change the value of pick nest to 0. So whatever pick nest was originally, if we set a value in that variable, when we get to the end of this routine we've actually picked up, pick nest is going to be set back to 0. We're going to do this again in the pick 2 routine. Now there's a couple ways we can do that. One way we can kind of cheat. We can copy this line, go to routines, go to pick 2, down to the bottom here, and oh, it looks like I can't paste in between. So add instruction right there, pick nest, edit only selected, make that a 0. Okay. So pick nest is going to be equal to 0. Those are our 2 pick routines. Do the same thing for all of the drop routines. So drop 1, show routine. This variable is going to be drop nest equals 0. Okay. Do the same thing for drop 2. Drop nest equals 0. Put it in number 3. Drop nest. Oops. Is 0. Number 4. Drop nest. Is 0. Okay. So we've completed all of those. Okay, so now that we have these added, we are going to go to our main routine. Under the main module, main routine, we're going to get rid of all the stuff we were using for testing here. So let's edit this. So let's select a range, delete that. Delete all this, and let's get into adding some instructions here. So, add instruction. Oh, we're going to insert the compact if statement. Now this needs more arguments than what is shown here. So we're going to add this with the add button, and this operation in the middle is going to be an equal. Our first argument here is going to be pick nest variable. Our second argument is just going to be a value. So we're going to say edit select and make that a 1. So we're going to say this: if pick nest is equal to 1, then we have an instruction over here. We are going to proc call pick 1. So basically what this is saying, if pick nest is equal to 1, so if the number variable pick nest is equal to a 1, we are going to call the pick 1 routine. If pick nest is equal to 2, so if it has a value of 2, we are going to proc call the pick 2 routine. And we will keep doing this. So I'm going to see if I can copy and paste a bunch of these. I think that's all that I need. Now let's just go ahead and change these. So I want to do this for drop nest. So if drop nest is equal to 1, it doesn't work. Okay. I have to create them all because I forgot you can't just replace proc calls. So let's continue on here. So let's say add instruction, compact if, plus if drop nest is equal to 1, we are going to, I think I can probably copy this now. Now I can change it. Okay. Equal to 3. Equal to 4, and this one's going to be add instruction proc call drop 1, proc call drop 2, proc call drop 3, proc call drop 4. Alright, so now this is our main routine. So what we want to do now is actually run this and see it actually make some decisions. So what we're going to do, let's bring up our program data. Drop nest and pick nest. So I can actually plug numbers into this. Pick nest. Well, let's put in a value here. Let's say a value of 1. Okay. Drop nest. Let's say a value of 3. So I have a pick from nest 1, drop in nest 3. So what my program should now do, if pick nest is a 1, it should call pick 1. If drop nest is a 3, it should drop in 3. So when I run this, it should run through here, and it should call pick 1, and then it should call drop 3. So let's see if that happens. So it should pick from over here. It should pick from over here, drop over here. Let's see if it actually does that. So I'm going to say debug, pp to main. Sure you want to move to the main? Yes. And here we go. It would have been better if the gripper was open. Let's try this again with the gripper open. PP to main. I move it a little slower too. Pick out a 1, drop at number 3, go back to there. Okay, you can see this is still cycling. The reason it's just cycling through but not actually moving, under my program data, You see, drop nest and pick nest now have values of 0. Why do they have values of 0? Because I set them at 1 and 3. Well, remember, the end of each of our routines right now, if you remember, we put those lines in there. As soon as we execute a pick or a drop, we change that variable back to a 0. So as soon as we do a pickup or a drop, those variables get reset back to 0. And we're ready for a new set of information to come in. So that's why those are reading 0 right now. That's why we don't continue the cycle. Okay, next up. We're going to take this logic here, that is our compact if. We're just going to copy all this stuff. We're going to create a new routine. And we're just going to call this manual select. And this is just going to be a place for us to store that logic we just wrote. We're not going to use it again. But we don't want to delete it either, so we're just going to store it somewhere else. So we're going to take that stuff and put it under manual select. So I'm going to edit, select range. I'm going to copy all this stuff. And I'm going to paste it all here. And I'm going to go back into my main. And I'm going to delete this out of here. So I've deleted it out of there, and we're going to do some new stuff now. So now we are going to do the TP read. I'm going to create a new routine. That's going to be called auto select. And this is going to start with a TP erase instruction. And then we're going to do a TP read FK. We're going to set the variable for pick nest. So this thing in between the quotes here, this is going to be the question that gets asked on the screen. We're going to say pick from where. And then we have 5 selections here. So it's saying make 2. This is going to be equal to part nest 1. Whoops. And I did that wrong. So I hit OK. I'll say nest 1. And the fourth one, we're going to say nest 4. Sorry, nest 2. So that's that. Now we want to do another TP erase. And we're going to say TP read. Going to be drop nest. I'll say drop where. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nest 1. Nest 2. Nest 3. And nest 4. So that is that instruction. Next, we're going to create a test instruction to test this. Okay, here we go. We're going to say this is under test. Okay, so test. So we're going to test pick nest. Now here's the thing we need to do here. We click on here. We're going to say add case. Remove case. So if it's a 1, it's going to be a proc call, pick 1. If it's a 2, proc call pick 2. Let's copy this. Add instruction. Test. Add case, add case, add case. There's 4 cases here. We are testing the variable drop nest. First one we have case number 1. Going to be a proc call for drop 1. Case 2 with a proc call for drop 2. Case 3 is a proc call for drop 3. Case 4 with a proc call for drop 4. That is it. That is my auto select. Under my main, I am going to proc call auto select. And let's try running this and see what happens. So I'm going to say debug pp to main. Yes. And run. And I get a message. It says pick from where, nest 1 or nest 2. I'm going to select nest 2. And then it says drop where, nest 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to say nest 4. Pick from where, nest 2 or 3, drop where. So I have it going only to nest 4 right now. It is not doing the picking. Let's see what's going on here. Ah, I know what it is. My cases do not match up with what I set. So, my variables that I set here are coming in on nest 1 is actually a value of 2. Nest 2 is actually a value of 4. So my cases have to reflect that as well. So this has to be I've selected, that actually has to be a 2. And this here, that actually has to be a 4. Now let's try running. Repeat to me, and are you ready to move? Yes, I am. Let's run. Where do you want to pick from? Let's go from nest 1. Where do you want to drop at? Let's go nest 3. So pick out of 1. Drop in nest 3. Let's do that again. Where do you want to pick from? Let's pick out of 2. Drop in nest 2. Picking out of 2. Dropping in nest number 2. Where do you want to pick from? Pick out of 1. Where do you drop where? Nest 4. And that is the conclusion of our lab.